Acer Nitro XV275K P3biipruzx. Say hello to the monitor that brings colors so accurate, you might just mistake your timeline for a Picasso. Plus, it gets bright enough to outshine your ambitions. But beware. Its controls are clunky, and those local dimming artifacts might make your midnight edits look haunted. Still, with massive brightness and crisp text, it's a color maestro that almost aces the audition for video editing, minus a few awkward pauses. 7 out of 10. Dell UltraSharp U3224KB. This one looks as sharp as your editing skills, flaunting vibrant colors and an IPS black panel that makes shadows pop while the port party in the back means business. However, don't call it a gaming champ. Slow motion and muted HDR highlights will have you yawning through cutscenes, though everyday editing and multitasking feel like a breeze. For pros on a budget, it's just shy of top tier, but will keep your workspace looking classy and connected. 8 out of 10. Dell U4025QW. If you want a monitor so wide you'll question your life choices, this beast gives you room for every timeline and color grade your heart desires, and its IPS black panel means contrast is practically sculpted. The higher than 4K resolution and zillion ports make it a creative hub, but fast motion looks blurrier than your childhood memories. So stick to editing, not gaming. With stunning image quality and pro-level features, it's a heavy hitter for serious editors who like to spread out, literally. 9 out of 10. ASUS ProArt Display 5K PA27JCV. This 5,000 pixel beast packs the kind of color punch that makes your footage look like $1,000,000, with stellar sharpness and ultra-accurate tones straight out of the box, but the built-in speakers sound like squirrels in a tin can. The delightfully adjustable stand, dazzling 5,000 resolution, and auto KVM magic will thrill picky editors, but its 60 Hz refresh rate means fast action cuts might look a bit sleepy. If you want dream color accuracy and wild detail without breaking into Apple Studio Display territory, this is a creative's treat. Just plan on grabbing real speakers. 8 out of 10. Dell UltraSharp U3224QE. With deep black and crisp 4,000 pixel detail from its fancy IPS black panel, this Dell serves up colors so accurate, your footage might stage a mutiny if you mess with them. Plus a buffet of ports, and even a built-in KVM to keep your desk less tangled than your timeline. The stand gets a little wobbly when you nudge it, and Adobe RGB coverage could be beefier, but for serious video or photo work, it's a sturdy, ultra-sharp value. Unless you demand extra screen magic for grading super sneaky dark scenes, this one's a reliable performer I'd trust for my next cut. 7 out of 10. ASUS ProArt PA279CRV. If you want a monitor that nails color accuracy on a budget, this 4,000 pixel ProArt lands plenty of pro features without picking your wallet's pocket. Think sweet factory calibration, amazing connectivity, and a big, sharp display, all while looking clean on your desk. True, its HDR is more Hollywood trailer than blockbuster, and contrast isn't glued to the floor, but for editors wanting professional style without pro pricing, this one's hard to beat for day-to-day cutting. Toss in the slick stand and silly low input lag, and you get a screen that works almost as hard as you do. 8 out of 10. AOC Q27G3X-Men. This AOC hits the desk like an energy drink, pumping out colors punchier than a neon sign with its 2,400 zones of mini LED backlighting. Editing videos feels lively, but the 27-inch panel might have you leaning in like you're trying to find Waldo in a crowd. They did forget about the wide color coverage pros crave, and that's a little awkward. Fast refresh rates are great for gaming, but for pure video editing, maybe look for something with a bit more color science and real estate. 6 out of 10. BenQ DesignVue PD3205U. BenQ swoops in with 32 inches of screen space and color accuracy tighter than your grandma's hug. Plus, it brings a wild party of ports that actually make sense for video editors. Editing feels like a breeze. Calibrated goodness comes standard, making your reds pop and your shadows moody without ever feeling clinical or lifeless. If you want smooth editing without hunting for dongles, this BenQ is a clear winner in the color arena. 9 out of 10. Dell U3224KB. Dell is swinging for the fences with its 32-inch screen and an absurd 7,680 by 4,320 pixels that scream, "Do not resize the timeline ever again." And the built-in camera means you can deliver editing feedback straight to the squad without leaving your chair. Colors are accurate as heck, with wide coverage and calibration options, but the price tag will have your wallet running for the hills, like it's being chased by digital wolves. If luxury editing is your mood and budget is not, this Dell is king. Otherwise, maybe stick to staring lovingly at your old screen. 8 out of 10. BenQ PD2725U. BenQ's PD2725U is the workhorse monitor that shows off rich color accuracy and sharp 4,380 by 2,160 pixel clarity. But those built-in speakers are more of a cute suggestion than a real feature, and the price tag might convince your wallet to start editing itself. Its dual view function lets you pretend you have two screens for the price of one, making multitasking actually feel professional. Solid connectivity and a super flexible stand are here, but plan to spend extra on decent audio. This one barely whispers the word sound. 7 out of 10. Apple Studio Display. Apple's Studio Display comes in swinging with a showstopper 5120 by 2880 pixel resolution and color. So accurate, you'll start doubting reality. All wrapped in that classic, why am I not a supermodel? Apple design. But you'll pay a king's ransom unless you take out a second mortgage. If you are a Mac user, it slides into your workflow like butter, but there is zero HDR and only basic customization, so demanding editors might feel left behind in the Premiere suite. It's gorgeous, simple, and blissful in a strictly Apple way, if you're not allergic to sticker shock. 8 out of 10. Eizo ColorEdge CG2700S. Eizo's ColorEdge CG2700S brings top-tier wizardry for color-obsessed editors, with near-perfect Adobe RGB coverage, built-in calibration, and giddy HDR support, so you'll see your footage in Technicolor truth. But then it hands you just 2560 by 1440 pixels, basically forcing you to pan around 4000 video like you're on a scavenger hunt. If absolute color precision and fancy industry gimmicks matter, this is the gold standard, but lack of true 4000 resolution means your editing window isn't fully window-sized. Nearly flawless for print and color grading, not quite the holy grail for full-resolution 4000 video work. 7 out of 10. BenQ PD3220U. This monitor brings you a whopping 32-inch display packed with colors so accurate, you might think you're editing Pixar's next hit. You get Thunderbolt connectivity and eye care tech, making marathon editing sessions feel less like a staring contest with a flashlight. But with only 60 Hz refresh rate and no Ethernet port, it's not built for Usain Bolt speed edits or wired internet warriors. 8 out of 10. Dell UltraSharp UP3218K. If 8K clarity is your thing, this 31.5-inch beauty will make your pixels pop so hard, you'll spot every rogue hair in your frame, and maybe your editor's regrets. It has wild color accuracy, Bluetooth, and a huge screen, but be prepared for serious burn-in worries and demanding dual DisplayPort cable gymnastics that will test your setup patience. Like your footage, this monitor needs a break every now and then for best results. 7 out of 10. Eizo ColorEdge CG2700X. This 27-inch masterpiece is a color magician, showing off smooth gradients and covering almost 100% of every color space you've ever heard of, making your edits look like a pro's fever dream. It's easy to set up, self-calibrates faster than you can say Delta E, and will keep your eyes and your colors happy for years, but your bank account might start a support group. So sharp and reliable, it almost deserves its own director's chair. 9 out of 10. ViewSonic ColorPro VP2786K. This monitor delivers color so accurate your grandma's cherry pie would look photorealistic. And it has a ColorPro wheel to make calibration feel like spinning the wheel on a game show, except the prize is color precision. The 27-inch 4K screen is perfect for video editing and creative work, but the stand wobbles if you sneeze and it maxes out at 60 Hz, so no action-packed gaming heroics here. If you want crispy footage and punchy colors without burning your retinas, this one's cooking with gas, but the wobbly stand drops it down. 8 out of 10. Corsair Xeneon Flex 45EQ HD240. The bendable 45-inch OLED screen is the yoga master of monitors, with stunningly rich colors and crazy good contrast. But the clunky mechanism means you'll wrestle with the curve more than your timeline edits. Picture quality is ace for darkrooms, but editing in bright daylight is a toss-up. And for the price, you might consider just hiring a personal assistant to hold your laptop at an angle. In short, it's fun to flex the tech, but the HDR quirks and the premium cost make this more a party trick than a practical video editing muscle. 6 out of 10. Dell Alienware AW3423DWF. This ultra-wide beauty dishes out OLED colors so vibrant your edits will look like a blockbuster trailer, plus a zippy refresh rate and lightning-fast response times, all wrapped in Alienware's spaceship-inspired style. The curved 34-inch screen sucks you right into your footage, but the brightness is shy if the sun crashes the party, so best keep the editing cave dark. It's a clear star for pros chasing buttery blacks and color accuracy, but wallet shock and some quirks with HDR keep it from total perfection. 9 out of 10. LG 49GR85DCB. This mega curved beauty covers 98% of the DCI P3 color space, making your color grading look bolder than your morning coffee. The screen stretches wide enough to multitask like a mad scientist, but with only 6 local dimming zones, you might notice shadows lurking in the corners if you're picky. Most editors will be thrilled by the ultra-wide real estate and punchy HDR. Unless you're obsessed with perfect blacks, then maybe keep searching. 8 out of 10. Samsung Odyssey Neo G9 G9. Calling this a monitor is like calling a limousine just a car. It's as wide as two 32-inch 4K displays, with so much screen you could edit an entire movie and still have room for cat videos. But the extreme curve means straight lines warp like a funhouse mirror, and some blooming in HDR might make your color work a tad dramatic, especially if you stare at the sides. Awesome for editing if you crave space, but the quirks drop it down a notch. Only the most hardcore multitaskers should apply. 6 out of 10. ASUS ROG Swift OLED PG49WCD. It's the monitor that made YouTube reviewers legit impressed. With an OLED panel so vivid your videos will pop like confetti at a unicorn party. Colors score near perfect marks. Blacks are truly black thanks to per-pixel dimming. And the huge curved screen means you can preview every timeline and still find your lost mouse. Sure, it's pricey, and there's always the distant risk of OLED burn-in, but for creative work, this is the closest thing to monitor heaven. 9 out of 10. MSI MPG491CQP QD-OLED. This beastly 49-inch ultra-wide could hold the whole timeline of your indie film, your audio tracks, and probably your grocery list, all at once. Colors hit that sweet spot for video work, but get ready to wrestle with some serious brightness and a price tag that screams, sell your second kidney. Editing here feels like driving a spaceship. You'll need a monster GPU just to keep up, but every pixel pops like confetti at a film festival. 9 out of 10. Dell U3425WE. Here's the practical pick. A 34-inch monitor with colors so accurate, your director's tears will finally look real instead of radioactive. The refresh rate brings a touch of motion smoothness, but there's no HDR, and blacks are about as gray as your Monday morning coffee. Editing is comfy and reliable, but if you dream in OLED, this monitor is basically your responsible accountant telling you to stop buying avocado toast. 7 out of 10. LG 45GX95EAB. With 45 inches of OLED glory and absurd pixel density, this bad boy makes video frames look like Renaissance paintings, sharp enough to shave with. Yes, the curve is dramatic and the price hits harder than a surprise cameo, but HDR pops, colors dazzle, and motion blur runs in fear. If you really want your edits to shine and your wallet to cry, this is the monitor. It's basically the blockbuster of editing screens. 9 out of 10. Samsung Odyssey OLED G9, G95SC. If you want a monitor that wraps around your face like an IMAX fever dream, the Samsung Odyssey OLED G9 does not disappoint with color so rich it could make your old display blush, plus a cinematic canvas for all your editing shenanigans. There's plenty of combo screen space for your video timelines, though text can get a bit blurry, and OLED burn-in paranoia is real, so try not to leave static windows up longer than your last coffee break. Bottom line, it's huge, vibrant, fantastic for editing, but not without its quirks. If you need to edit like a boss in the dark, this beast is a solid contender, earning a very enthusiastic 9 out of 10. Samsung Odyssey OLED G85SB S34BG85. The Odyssey OLED G85SB is a curved 34-inch charmer with sharp colors and wild fast refresh rates, so your videos look buttery smooth. If your project moves at lightning speed, it has the soul of a gaming monitor but slides neatly into editing duty, except dark scenes can get a touch purple and, just like any OLED, there's a lurking threat of screen burn-in if you love your editing software too much. For everyday editing, it's punchy and crisp, but not quite a perfect 10. I give it a zippy 7 out of 10. Dell U3225QE. The Dell U3225QE struts in with a sharp 32-inch screen, legendary color accuracy, ports galore, and enough ergonomics to make even your chiropractor jealous, making it dreamy for photo and video editing. But when things speed up, fast-moving content goes blurry, and the local dimming can get confused. So HDR is more meh than wow, which means it's not a star for energetic video edits. For static work, it's a beast, but if you deal with wild motion, you might want to look elsewhere. A respectable but not heroic 7 out of 10. Gigabyte AORUS F032U2P. This monitor feels like it showed up to the video editing party wearing a superhero cape, boasting a mind-blowing refresh rate and OLED magic that screams vibrant color accuracy. You get a generous 32-inch feast for your eyeballs, but it is so pricey you might need to sell a kidney just to get one. And beware burn-in if you park your timeline for too long. If you want your edits looking sharper than your neighbor's kitchen knives, and your wallet is unfazed, this is one monitor that makes your footage look downright cinematic, but it's a risky investment. 7 out of 10.